Yes, sir. Please start.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sanjay Bhattacharji. I am the founder of Teplu Learning Private Limited. Firstly, I would like to thank agricultureinformation.com for providing me this opportunity to speak to each one of you. Uh, I would like to say that this presentation will be in English language. However, uh, the audience can ask me questions in, Hindi, Marathi, Kannada, or even Bangla. I'll be happy to answer your queries in those languages. So without further delay, let me just take you through what we are going to do today. My startup Teplu is now in the fourth year since its establishment in 2019. And uh, we have been incubated by Indian Veterinary Research Institute, which is based out of Bareilly, and also by Science and Technology Park Pune, which is a collaboration between Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Savitribai Phule Pune University. And in 2018, we have also been uh, considered as one of the top startups by IIT Bombay, and that is where we actually generated this idea of working for farmers and creating a platform for farmers. So, in today's session on dairy processing and dairy products, what we will essentially be covering is the profitability that different dairy products have, what kind of distribution models one can look forward to while setting up their dairy business, what kind of equipments are required for setting up a small scale dairy plant. We are talking about 100 to 150 liters of dairy products and maybe up to 1,000 liters per day of milk, pouch milk. And then what are the raw materials which are required? What is the civil work which has to be done as per FSSI norms? What kind of investment should you look at? How to go about selling your products? I will also appraise you about some of the government rules which are there and some of the schemes which the government has made available for different sections of the society. And what are the overall risks and mitigations and the mitigation measures that you need to take care of? So it's a lot of information which is there, which I'm going to share with you. Can I request you to mute your audio, please? Yeah. So there's a lot of information I'm going to share with you. So I will have to go a bit fast because we just have 1 hour's time slot. However, we'll try to keep 15 minutes for question and answers so that I can address your queries. So firstly, one might ask us that why is Teplu in the dairy sector? So firstly, if you look into the dairy farming segment of our country, the average milk yield per animal today is as low as 7 to 8 liters per animal. Whereas if you look at developed countries like US, it is 35 to 40 liters, and in countries like Israel, it is 45 to 50 liters per animal. So we are way behind. So that means there are a lot of issues in the way we are managing animals. Secondly, uh, are dairy products really needed in this country? Well, yes. As per data, India is protein deficient. So there is an institution called Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, which recommends that for every individual, individual's body weight, so for each 1 kg body weight, we need 60 grams of protein per day. But actually, the consumption is almost half of that in India, and hence there's a lot of protein deficiency. Uh, Secondly, there's a lot of there are a lot of vegetarians in country who derive their proteins from cereals such as dal, but such proteins are not easily digestible. Hence, the easiest way for the body to obtain proteins is from milk and dairy products. Okay, so there is a huge scope, and for the next 100 or 500 years, the demand for dairy products is not going to decrease; it's going to increase. Now, why am I saying that the demand is going to increase? Is because there is also another research which says that as and when the income of an individual increases, the first expense which they do, the increase in expense happens in food items. So people have better quality food, and hence, as the propensity to spend increases, as the income of people increases, the expenditure on dairy products is also going to increase. If we are setting up a dairy plant in any rural area, or if we are encouraging dairy farmers to produce more milk, it creates rural employment, and in the process, it also leads to reverse migration. So, if you visit villages today, you will see that most of the population in the villages are the aged people, and the youth have actually gone to the city. And it is not that every youth from villages, an engineer or a doctor. Many are there who are working as security guards. They are working as daily wage laborers also. So if these people can come back to the village and get into dairy farming and supply their milk to a local dairy plant, this will increase their incomes. They will easily earn 15 to 20,000 by by staying in their villages. So we are in this sector, hence we are in the dairy segment, because there is a serious implication of making developmental efforts in the dairy sector. And hence what we have is we have a platform, online platform, where we have different courses on scientific dairy farming, and we have dairy product manufacturing courses also, the online courses. We had started with classroom courses on dairy product manufacturing, which were of 2 days, but then we realized that when people went back to their place, people came from different parts of the country. They were not getting the same kind of ingredients that our experts were suggesting. They were not using the same kind of machines, and hence there was a lot of product failures. Hence we started setting up dairy plants for people, wherein we provide end-to-end solutions, we provide training, we provide equipments, we get the license of people. We also do product development, where our team stays with the entrepreneurs at their place for 4 to 5 days, and then we develop the products as per the requirement of customers, and then hand over, and we keep monitoring and auditing the plants, and any kind of troubleshooting which happens in small or large dairy plants, that also we solve. So we have over 15,000 users from 11 countries as of now, and we have set up our manufacturing plants in Maharashtra, Gujarat, and currently we are setting up in Karnataka. As far as academic linkages concerned, our courses have been recommended by IVRI as beneficial for farmers. So why is it that when we talk of dairy plants, we have been able to achieve a very high success rate? Is because when you start a dairy plant where you manufacture different kinds of products such as paneer, ghee, etc., first thing that you should do is do the feasibility analysis. So you have to understand whether milk is available in and around your place, and that too at a price which makes your product viable. The second thing is that the equipments that you purchase should be of good quality and should have optimum operational efficiency, and using few equipments you should be able to manufacture a large number of products. We also provide the project report, the licensing, as I said, commissioning. So along with that, we provide the practical training and product development. And using all these strategies, we have been able to achieve a high success rate for our plants. So if you were to ask me how much space would I need to set up a small plant of say 100 to 150 liters milk processing per day, so you will need around 400 to 450 square feet. This is one example of a plant which we set up in Gujarat for tribal women, and this was the condition of the place, and this is how the plant was set up after commissioning. These are some of the other plants that we have set up. We work in rural areas with women, with youth, and with also private entrepreneurs. And they are all working. And from day one, all the plants are working on a profitable basis at a unit level. So when I mean profitable at a unit level, which is that if you are selling, if you are manufacturing paneer, so if the price at which you are selling paneer is 240 rupees, so we ensure that we use dairy technology in such a way that your manufacturing cost becomes 210 rupees. So you have a margin of at least 30 rupees. Now let's get into what are the products that you can make. at a small scale with 100 to 150 liters of milk. So you can manufacture paneer, which is of low fat, or malai paneer. Low fat paneer typically ranges, up to 2.5%, and malai paneer, as per FSSI, is ranges from 3.5 to 4.5%. Then you have ghee, which can be obtained from buffalo milk and cow milk. You can make khoa, which is also called mawa in certain parts of our country, and then you can make rabdi basundi. You can make fermented products like curd, lassi, buttermilk, kulfi, ice cream, Shrikhand, Amrakhand. If you make Shrikhand or Amrakhand, that's a delicacy in Maharashtra and Gujarat. You can make make it out of different other flavors. Then you can also make sweets like rasgulla. We also help you make more than 40 types of sweets, and we also help you manufacture pouch milk in 200 ml, 500 ml, or 1 liter pouches. Right. So these are the products that you can start with. However, as I will go ahead, I will explain that you should start with a few products. Although you might have a wide portfolio, but you can start with a few products in the beginning. Now, the first question that we need to answer is whether all kinds of products, dairy products, can be made from all kinds of milk. So, if we talk of milk, how many kinds of milk do we have? We have buffalo milk and we have cow milk. And in cow milk, we have cow milk which is obtained from Indian breeds, and cow milk which is obtained for crossbred cows, right? So two different varieties of milk, and they are different in their composition. I'll not get into the details now, but buffalo milk is generally having higher fat of 5.5 to 6%, and cow milk has a lesser fat, say 3 to 4%, right? So which are the products which you can make from buffalo milk? You can make paneer from buffalo milk. So you will ask me whether we can make paneer out of cow milk. Yes, you can make paneer out of cow milk, but it will give you a yellow tinge, right? Which may not be acceptable easily to your customers. But there are large companies like Govardhan, which make excellent quality paneer out of cow milk. So generally, when you try to make paneer out of cow milk alone, it doesn't coagulate well, or it doesn't set well. So there is a problem with that. Other than that, you can manufacture curd, lassi, and buttermilk with buffalo milk. Again, you can set curd out of cow milk, but it will not have a good consistency, and maybe after a day or so, you will see some incoherence, or a wire like kind of thing you will see, and the taste becomes impalatable quite soon. Similarly, for kulfi and ice cream, you need buffalo milk. Shrikhand, Amrakhand also, which is manufactured from curd, also buffalo milk is needed. However, ghee, a product like ghee, you can make from buffalo milk as well as cow milk. Khoa or mawa can be made from buffalo milk or cow milk, but it varies from product to product. So for making khoa, which is used for manufacturing gulab jamun, nowadays actually the problem is that gulab jamun is made from gulab jamun mix in the market, but people rarely use khoa. But gulab jamun made out of pure khoa is like extremely delicious. Uh, so that is made out of cow milk. But khoa, which is made from buffalo milk, is used for making
નથી
barfi
આવવાના
and those kind of
કારમાં
things.
આવવાનો છું, કામ છે બીજું.
Prakashji, can you please mute your thing? Yeah, thank you. Indian sweets can both be made out of buffalo milk and cow milk, but in Indian sweets, the Bengali sweets such as rasgulla, anguri, rasmalai, chamcham, they can be manufactured only from cow milk. They cannot be made from buffalo milk. And processed milk, you can use both cow milk or buffalo milk. When you go for processed milk, you will have to standardize the milk. Standardization means whatever the expectation level of your customer is with regard to its fat, you need to have fat, that level of fat in the milk. For example, some customers may want toned milk or skim milk. Skim milk generally has 1% fat. So you will need to skim the milk. You will need to use a cream separator and take out the cream and sell it. There is another problem with processed milk. If you do not homogenize the milk, if you do not use a process of homogenization, what happens is that the fat of the milk usually tends to come up in the pouch, and hence the customer gets a different taste during different seasons of the year. So I must also add that during different seasons, which is winter, summer, rainfall, you will see that the quality of milk differs, and hence the standardization of milk for all the products is very important. Last but not the least, Rabdi and Basundi, these are two products which are usually made from cow milk. And Rasgulla, like I said, is made from cow milk. So this is the difference in the kind of products you can make from buffalo milk and cow milk. Let's look at profitability of some products. So a lot of small scale manufacturers, they manufacture these products, and they are often, I have seen, what they are quite deficient when it comes to calculating the profitability of products. What happens is they underestimate their expenses and sell the products at a relatively low cost, and hence the margins of products are very less. For here, as I've shown here, this is an example of uh, calculating the cost of paneer. So paneer, you take the cost of raw materials like milk, either you are using buffalo milk or cow milk or, skim milk powder, then the acid which you take. So you basically take care of all the costs here. You also put the cost of gas and power, labor charges, and then you add depreciation. So what is depreciation? Very quickly, if you are buying an equipment, say for 1 lakh rupees, you need to recover the cost of that equipment, right? So after a period of 10 years or 12 years, that machine will not work. It will become junk. So that means within 10 years, you have to recover the amount of money that you have spent for that machine. That you will do from every kg of product that you manufacture. So you attribute depreciation also for every product that you manufacture. Then you should also account for selling cost. So if you are delivering a product, say 5 kilometers away, and somebody is using a bike or a tempo, there is a cost involved in that. Petrol price is there, the driver cost is also there. This way you have to drive the cost, and then you get a cost per unit, which you will have to get the cost per kg or liter of your product, and then you calculate the profit of your product. This is very briefly the way you calculate profitability. Now let's look at the profit margins that you normally have in dairy products. And so this percentage, the figures given here, you will not generally find in Google or anywhere else, because these have been obtained from the dairy plants that we operate. So we are very deeply involved with the dairy plants that we operate on a day-to-day basis, and from where we have done the calculation. So if you take buttermilk, which is also called chas, there you have 18 to 20%. In ice cream, you get a good profit, 30 to 34%. And now there are two ways of manufacturing ice cream. One is where they make it like kulfi, and then there is the other method where they use a batch freezer where the volume of ice cream doubles. So in that case, the profitability also multiplies. Paneer, usually you get 15 to 20%, 25%, depending upon where you're selling. So if you're selling it at a wholesale price, where your cost of production is low, then you get lesser margins, but you have to play with more volumes. You have to sell more volumes in that. Whereas if you have your own retail outlet and you're selling for a higher percentage, and you also have a low cost of production, then your margins are higher. So for lassi, you get 15 to 18%, peda 20-25%. Shrikhand is one of the products which has got the highest amount of profitability. Rasgulla, Bengali sweets, these also have high profitability. Rabdi also. So this is the kind of profit you can expect. Pouched milk, if you were to ask me, has a profit margin of 7 to 10%, depending upon what is your procurement price, what is your storage price, and what is your transportation and selling price, right? So this is the kind of profit margins you can expect. Can you please disable annotation? One second, somebody is trying to.
What's happening, sir?
Yeah, I think by mistake somebody's. Okay, so now that we've learned about profits of products, so how do you increase the profits of your dairy products, and what is the profit of your dairy business going to be dependent on? So this is a very important part. You must remember that when you're getting into the dairy business, the fat percentage and the SNF percentage of the milk that you use for making dairy products is one of the most important factors which is going to increase or decrease your profitability, right? So when you are procuring milk from whatever source, either a farm or a distributor, you have to check the fat, right? You have to check the SNF. So this SNF is going to increase or decrease the yield of your product. For example, we have seen that in case of paneer, we have taken buffalo milk from different sources, and from some sources, the milk, the paneer yield is around 200 grams or 190 grams per liter of milk, and in some we have seen 210, 220 grams also, right? The second factor is cost of milk, right? If you are suppose near to a village, and you are procuring milk at the rate of what farmers get from cooperatives, then you are in a sweet spot, right? So those who are in villages should try to get a rate. There is a rate chart given by different kinds of cooperatives. You should ask the suppliers to follow that rate card, and above that rate card, a 1 rupee or a 2 rupee commission is usually charged by the distributors. So you can pay as per that. So lower the cost of your milk, higher is your profit, right? So what happens if the cost of milk is high? So there are two scenarios where you are in a village which is like very isolated. We have several plants like that. Uh, so there the cost of milk is very low, but for them the market is a city which is maybe 40 or 50 kilometers. So the irony is that they have to spend more on transportation, right? But if your plant is in say in the outskirts of a city, like a city like Jodhpur or Mumbai or Bangalore, where the cost of milk is high, there what you have to do is your strategy has to be different. There you have to position your products for the premium customer segment, and try to build yourself there. So in this kind of a situation where cost of milk production is high, what we do is we enable you to reduce the cost of production by using different kinds of ingredients, by using milk powder as per FSSI norms, whatever is permitted as per FSSI. But depending upon the location, you have to change your strategy to make yourself profitability. Ingredient, the kind of acids that you're using, for process, that's very important for managing your profitability. When we talk of process, some people use in the manufacturing of ghee, they use a process called Bologna process. That's a traditional way of making ghee. But unfortunately, there is a lot of wastage, of the curd after making the ghee. So if you're not able to utilize that curd for some other product, then your cost of manufacturing goes very high, which means you have to sell your milk for 3,000, 3,500 rupees a kg. And believe me, we have our customers who run dairy farms of indigenous cows, and their cost of milk production, cost of ghee production goes up to 3,000, 3,500, per kg. Abdul Rashid ji, I'll answer your questions at the end because I have a lot of ground to cover. I would request everyone to write down your questions, and then I will answer them one by one. Okay. Shelf life. Now, the most important thing is when you're you're starting a dairy product, the amount of wastage of the should be minimal. That means your product should not stay idle. They should sell off, or even if they are not selling off for some time, you should provide them the adequate shelf life. So normally, curd, if you take normally, under refrigerated conditions, which is less than 4 degrees, will stay normal for 4 to 5 days. Like even chas is the same, or lassi, it's the same. Khowa, if you refrigerate it properly, it can stay up to three months. Paneer again will stay up to 4 to 5 days, right? But there are techniques which are available. There are techniques which are available where you add permitted preservatives, and you can increase the shelf life of paneer to 1 month. You can increase the life of curd and all these things, curd, lassi, chas to 1 month. You can increase the shelf life of khawa to 6 months, and the natural life of Shrikhand or Amrakhand, if stored below minus 10 degrees, is actually 6 months. So you can extend the shelf life of products, and hence you don't need to worry whether your products are not getting sold, in a day or two, right? The other important thing is hygiene. Hygiene, you have to follow strict hygiene factors because uh, lots of fungus can come in, and they are all temperature resistant fungus which are available. They will come into your product and reduce the shelf life. And once the customer finds that the product has got some hygiene issues, it takes a long time to get that same customer back to you. And lastly, how you position your products. Like if you're, like I said, you're in a village or in your city. If you're in a village, generally the villagers prefer to have lassi or some product peda, which are sweeter, right? But people in cities, they prefer these products which have less sugar. So you need to position yourself as per the taste, as per the requirement of your customers, right? Now let's understand the marketing which you need to do, and what are the marketing channels which are available. There are four different categories of channels in the dairy segment, which is like any other FMCG business. The first is the B2C. Very quickly, if you have your own retail outlet or you are catering to the customers directly yourself, you're selling to them directly, that's a B2C channel. B2B is where you're supplying to hotels, caterers. It is called HoReCa, hotels, restaurants, and caterers. Okay, then you have B2B2C. So if there is a grocery store which has a refrigerator and you're selling the product to the grocery store in turn is selling to the customers, then that is a B2B2C segment. And lastly, the latest segment is D2C. So some brands prefer to have their own app or website, and there are these third-party apps like Zomato, Swiggy, Zepto, where people also sell their products, right? So we did a study of to understand, the cost and returns in these different kinds of segments. So if you compare all these segments on two parameters, which is overheads. Now, what are overheads? Overheads are your indirect costs. So if you're setting up a retail unit, the cost of running the unit, the electricity charge, the selling charge, or if you're selling to some distributor, the transportation cost, the manpower cost, these are all overheads, right? So if you compare these overheads and the margins, then uh, the most profitable channel is the B2C segment. So if you have a decent place in a city or in a town which has got good visibility, and you set up your own shop or you sell to customers directly for the quality of your products, then you have the highest margin there. You can, for example, in Mumbai, we have brands like Punjab and Sindh Paneer, which sell paneer for 480 rupees a kg, right? We have Sweet Bengal again in Mumbai, which sells one rasgulla for 45 rupees, right? These are unimaginable prices. So they command their prices. So, but the problem with B2C is that it is less scalable. So you can have 7, 8 shops, 10 shops, but you cannot have 100 shops, 200 shops, because logistics is a problem. Moving your products from one place to other, that's a problem. The second segment, B2B, the overheads are slightly less, the margins are slightly less because somebody else is distributing. So you can get basically sell products to hotels. So when you go to sell products to hotels, specifically products like paneer, they have different requirements. So one is a case where kind of paneer where they need to make seekh kebabs and those kind of things, where they need a slightly harder kind of paneer, right? So that is normally slightly less in fat. Then they need malai paneer also. Malai paneer is paneer which is high in fat. But you will encounter a typical problem there. You will see that there are people who are selling paneer for 190 rupees a kg. But let me assure you that it is practically impossible to make paneer out of buffalo milk or skimmed milk powder using legal means at that rate. So that means they are doing some kind of adulteration there. An unfortunate story is many of the hotels or roadside hotels, they have got used to this kind of paneer, and probably slowly they are losing the taste of fresh quality paneer. So that's the B2B segment. Then B2B2C. This is a highly scalable model where you appoint wholesalers. Wholesalers in turn they appoint retailers, and retailers sell in their shop. So you can spread your wings anywhere. You are starting in Karnataka, you can come to Maharashtra, you can come to Punjab. That's the way large brands like Amul, Varka, Mother Dairy, all of them are spread. Heritage. And the last is D2C. D2C is, overheads are also less. Overheads are less provided you have a good brand and you are spending less on marketing, right? And then you can have the margins will also be less, because if you sell on Zomato and Zomato and Swiggy, they will straight away deduct 25% of your profits. They will take as their fees. Now, how do we set up this plant which manufactures paneer, ghee, khoa, basundi? Let me take you through that, right? Which are the machines which are required? So we recommend machines which can be used for multi-purposes. For example, this khoa machine here can be used for making, for pasteurizing milk, for making paneer, for heating the milk for curd, for heating milk for, for preparing khoa, for heating milk for making rasgulla, for chana. All this can be made from this single unit, right? Then you have the paneer making machine. Then you have a cream separator. So like I mentioned earlier, if you want to standardize your milk and take out the cream while making ghee, you use this cream separator. Then there is this lassi or buttermilk stirrer, which is used for making lassi and buttermilk. Batch freezer, like I said, is used for making ice cream, but that's a costly equipment. You would not want to start with a batch freezer or making ice cream initially. If you have 30 to 40 kgs of Shrikhand to make every day, you need a Shrikhand maker, because the process of grinding, and fine tuning the chakka is a laborious one. So you need some machine for Shrikhand making. If you are making 40 to 50 kgs of Shrikhand per day, then you need these refrigerators, and you need, most importantly, a curd incubator. Why a curd incubator? Because what happens is we do not have any control on temperature. So during winter months, when the temperature goes down, the bacteria for making curd, they become less active. As a result, curd setting takes a long process, or curd gets spoiled. Similarly, even during summer conditions, what happens? Ideal temperature for setting curd is at 42 degrees for 4.5 to 5 hours. So what happens is, due to the situation that you are in, maybe because of the hygiene, coupled with the hygiene factor and the temperature, the curd becomes acidic. As a result, your lassi becomes acidic. You have to add more sugar. Your Shrikhand becomes more acidic. You have to add more sugar. To avoid these problems, this machine is used, where you put the culture in the milk and put it in the incubator. After 5.5 hours, it automatically stops and starts getting cooled, and it comes below 4 degrees Celsius. So your acidity level of the curd remains very normal. So these are the machines which are required. Not many machines if you have to start with 100 to 150 liters of milk. But when you are going for pouch packing, I have not shown the machines here, but I'll show you later on. For pouch milk packing of 200 ml or 500 ml, you need a minimum size capacity plant is 100 liters per hour, right? The boiler can run on either electricity or wood. So in cases where electricity is cheap and available throughout the day, you can go for a electric system. Or where electricity is not there, or where the cost of electricity is high, you can go for the wooden boiler, right? So after the milk is put in the boiler, it goes through the plate exchanger, where your pasteurization happens. Pasteurization means effectively taking the milk to 82 degrees Celsius, and then through the plate exchanger, again it cools down. It goes to the next machine, which is the homogenizer. In the homogenizer, what happens is that the fat globules, they become very small. They're mixed thoroughly so that the consistency and taste is obtained. After that, the milk goes to a storage tank. After getting chilled, it goes to the storage tank, and then from the storage tank, maybe next morning or in the evening, you basically fill it in pouches through a packing machine. So it's a decently large setup which you need for pouch packing milk. What kind of civil work do you have to do? Civil work you have to do not just because of hygiene standards required, but also because there are FSSI, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. FSSI has laid certain norms which you have to abide by And these are like you have to have 4 feet of tile all across, in the premise. Then you need to have a hygiene station. You need a wash basin. Outside, you need a separate entry and a separate exit for materials. Then you need a washing area for utensils. You need a proper drainage. You need a fire extinguisher. You need an exhaust. Okay, these are the basic things which you need. Why are these required? It's because once you are doing, for example, tiling, you will not know that during the rains, water starts seeping in the walls and there is a growth of fungus. So you'll think, okay, fine, the wall is 4 feet away, 5 feet away. How does it affect my products? But actually the spores of the fungi fly and come to the products, and they reduce the shelf life of the products, and hence this is something which is required. So what kind of budget do you need? So for a 100 to 150 liters per day capacity multi product plant, you will need an outlay of 12 to 15 lakhs, depending upon the location you are, right? And depending upon which market you are present in. So there's a budget of 12 to 15 lakhs which is needed. And similarly for a milk processing plant, that's a costly affair, slightly costly, 100 liters per hour. You can go up to 800 to 1000 liters per day using the same setup, but you'll have to use it for around 17-18 hours a day. So that comes for around 15 to 18 lakh rupees. That's the kind of budget you should have in mind. So other than this budget, what you should have is working capital. What do I mean by working capital? For example, you are purchasing milk. So you are purchasing milk from farmers and you have to pay them every week, right? But your customer, if you have a customer who pays you cash while taking the product, well, it's very good. But if you have an institution like a hotel which pays you after a month, then the problem is that you'll need capital to sustain yourself for that month, and you have to pay the milk supplier or the raw material supplier. So you need to have an additional working capital of one. Ideally, if you have working capital of 3 months, nothing like it, it's very good. What is the break even? So when do you get your money back, right? If you are starting 100 to 150 liters of product, people have often asked me, is it a viable thing? Because a lot of old people, they have this misnomer, the myth in their mind, somebody spread this, that small units are not profitable. That is not true. Small unit is profitable, definitely, but depending upon how you manage it, your margins may be lower high, right? If you are deciding to start a small plant and you are setting up a swanky showroom where the monthly expenditure is 50 to 60,000 rupees, definitely your margins will be less, right? So this is a low cost business to start with. Once you build your brand, gain traction, that's when you can spend more on branding and increase your footprint. So when you go for manufacturing products of small scale, you don't go to manufacture 10 products like I said initially. You go for 4 or 5 products. Like when we start a dairy plant for someone, we give them a training initially of 3 days where we make them taste and feel and see the entire process of manufacturing these products. So that stays in their mind for 10, 15 days, and thereafter the product development is done. And in the product development, we start with paneer, ghee, khowa, and maybe peda or another product, 4 or 5 products. You should work day in and day out to become an expert in those products. So what we do is we have several standardization norms that we follow. We set up for every unit. Why do we set up these standardization norms? Because the milk quality is different in every village. So what happens is in a certain village, the animals are fed more green fodder when they are grazing around. There, the quality of milk is different. In another village, only dry fodder is fed, so the kind of milk is different. So firstly, we teach you how to do chemical analysis of that kind of milk, and thereafter we develop standards for product manufacturing, and then make you experts in those 5 products. After that, after 3 months, 4 months, when you have gained expertise in those products and you have gained traction, that's the time when you should go for the other products. So if you are manufacturing 5 or 6, 4 or 5 products that way, uh, so this is what we have normally seen in our dairy plants, is that you will break even typically by the end of first year or mid of second year. That's when you recover your cost. And initial year, your gross profits are around 3.5 lakhs, and return of investment is around 20%. Now, this figure will vary from plant to plant, depend upon how you are managing your operational expenses and all the other expenses, right? But this is grossly, this is the trend. So what are the government rules? So you have to get your FSSI registration done. So if you are doing less than, if you are setting up for less than 500 liters plant, you need not go for a state license. You can go for a central license that is obtained easily. But if you are going for more than 500 liters, the process is slightly more cumbersome. You have to put photographs of the plant. You have to have a recall plan. A recall plan is essentially like, if your product is the quality has deteriorated, or some customer has complained about the quality, you need to have the facility to withdraw the product from the market and then also report it to the authority. So this kind of norms are requirement. So what are the schemes available from the government for any citizen in the country, or for any self-help group or FPO, farmers producer organization? The government has got some good schemes. One of them is PMEGP, Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. Now, through this is not just for dairy, for any manufacturing activity, for any manufacturing sector. In the entire manufacturing sector, you will get a loan of up to 25 lakh rupees. And if you are taking a loan of less than 10 lakhs, then it is collateral free, right? So one of our customers took a loan of 25 lakh rupees. In his case, because his credit history was good, so he didn't have to give a non-agriculture property as collateral. What he had to give is the equipments are actually taken as collateral. So the whatever equipments we purchased, the payment came from the bank into the account of Teplu, and Teplu in turn provided the equipments, and that was a mortgage. So there is another loan which is called Mudra loan, where up to 10 lakh rupees of loan is given without collateral. So what is the application process? So every district has a Khadi Gram Udyog office. So you can visit there and submit the application form. The application form you can go online, which is at KVIC, Khadi Village Industries Commission. If you go online, you will see the application form there. You can fill up the application form. You will need a project report. Project report, we provide you that. And along with that, the application has to submit it to the Khadi Gram Udyog office. They in turn forward to the bank, and the bank then disburses the loan. So you get a subsidy of up to 35%. So that subsidy actually gets credited into your account once you pay the first EMI, right? So it varies from 30 to 35%, depending upon caste, etc. There are different requirements. There is another scheme which is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Yojana. In that, this is specifically for cold chain, where dairy sector is also covered, where pre-cooling and logistics, the cold chain requirement, this is fulfilled. Here the benefit is that there is a grant which is provided. Now this actually this grant goes up to 10 crores also. So this is largely for cooperatives, but this has also been opened recently for FPOs and self-help groups. So there the process is a bit stringent. The net worth analysis is initially done, net worth of the SHG or FPO, and thereafter 25% of the amount is disbursed as grant. So the owner's contribution is also there. So you can go through this scheme on Google. That is also available. And then other than that, you can avail loans from private banks and you get the subsidy. So this is all about the schemes which are available. Now the last part which I want to cover is on risk and mitigation. So there are many other things which we can talk about. It usually takes 2 hours for my sessions, but I thought I must convey the most important things in this business. So every business, whether it is clothes or computers, has some risk or the other. Let's talk about what are the risks and how can you mitigate or how can you overcome those risks in this sector. So first source of risk, is the milk. So the milk from where you purchase in the north, a lot of customers talk to me from North India, especially Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and they say that a lot of synthetic milk is available there. So if you are getting that kind of milk, or if you are getting any kind of adulteration of milk, it directly affects your product quality, right? Secondly, when very practically speaking, somebody comes to deliver the milk, gets the milk, it's in a very high acidic condition, leaves the milk there and goes away. And once you put it in the boiler, try to boil it, what happens is the milk gets spoiled. But that person, supplier, says, no, sir, I gave you the milk there. So 2 cans, 3 cans, you have to actually end up losing money for that. So what is the way of mitigation? Mitigation is that you have to test the milk. So firstly, we make you experts in testing, sampling milk by tasting milk. Then there is an alcohol test which you need to do. There is a fat and SNF which you need to check every day. So suppose somebody is mixing water in the milk and selling it to you, and you're not checking your product yield, the quantity of paneer will be less, oil will be less. So you need to do the test. If you do the test properly, there is no risk in it. You can manage it. Second is handling of milk. 1 liter of milk, if it falls down on the floor and it goes, then you cannot retrieve that, right? So 1 liter of milk, 55 rupees, goes in the drain. So milk has to be handled properly. It has to be boiled. It has to be stored properly, and not even a single liter of milk should get spoiled. Product hygiene and consistency, like I mentioned earlier, also is the most important. If the customer finds hair or any other external particles in the milk, then it's a big problem. The product will not, the customer will not come back to you. Consistency is a very important factor. You must have the same taste every day. The largest brands in the country, like Haldiram or whichever large brand you can, they have become big because they have been able to give the same quality, not just for 1 week, 1 year, but for 30, 35 years. That's consistency. And so that is very important. So food business is not an easy business. Food business is not an easy business because the taste has to be the same every day. The next risk is cost of production. So if you're, like I said, if you're not knowing the quality of milk, and the yield is less, then the cost of production goes up. So if your workers are utilizing the gas more than that is required, or they're not using standard techniques, then the cost of production goes up. So that is a risk, right? So you have to sell products in the market at a rate which is lesser than what competition is offering. You initially have to offer 4 to 5 rupees less per kg of what competition is offering. So your cost of production definitely needs to go down. Packing quality also needs to be good, right? There are different ways to ensure that packing is good, so that shelf life of the product increases. You have to follow a regular production schedule. It's very important. If you decide that, okay, no, tomorrow I'm not going to make the product, but the customer who has already asked you for an order will be very frustrated if you don't deliver the order on the day that it was scheduled. So you have to follow the production schedule every day. Last but not the least, most important risk is that of credit cycle. So a lot of people ask me, why do so many dairy plants shut down? The first thing that they do is they watch videos on YouTube, and they buy machines, from machine suppliers. Machine suppliers tell them that, okay, you take it. It's a very important, very, very easy process to manufacture products. So they buy the products and they hire some karigars. In our country, karigars are very famous. It's not that they're all bad. Karigars are also very important people, but some of the karigars decide to fly off. Some of them even don't know how to make good quality products. So they leave the owner, and the owner cannot manufacture the products. That's the first cause. Second thing is that the business runs out of cash. So this credit cycle is like I explained, when you're purchasing milk from a farmer, you have to pay him after an interval of 7 days or 10 days. But if your customer is paying you after 30 days, where will you meet this cash, the gap in cash from, right? So you have to arrange for that cash, or you have to manage your credit cycle in such a way that when you're selling your products, you should get daily cash, right? So that you're always cash positive. So credit cycle, if managed properly, there are very large companies in India which are, billion-dollar companies who have managed their credit cycle properly. And this is required even for a small-scale dairy plants. So these are all the things which I wanted to share with you. So I'm now open to questions. You can ask your questions. Please.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much, sir. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen, sir, so that we can see your full video?
Okay.
Since we are running short of time, I will take a few questions. I will be sharing your contact details as well, sir.
Yeah.
Members can get in touch with you later.
Sure.
Okay. The first question is, looking back at your career, what will you say have been some of your major achievements in the area of dairy farming?
Okay. In the area of dairy farming, firstly, I think I had my own dairy farm around 12 years ago of around 100 animals in the outskirts of Mumbai. So I have practically been a dairy farmer, managed my animals, and I faced a lot of challenges in there. But after having overcome those challenges, I would say that my greatest asset was the quality of milk that I was procuring. The somatic cell count of my milk was less than 2 lakh per ml. The bacterial count was quite less. There was zero mastitis in my farm. There were no animals with mastitis, and calf mortality was zero. So none of the calves in my farm had died. So I think I managed the farm extremely well. Operationally, I would say we were profitable and we made good money seasonally at that time. So that time milk was selling for 10 rupees a liter. I think after that, what I did was I have been able to create a course, A to Z of scientific dairy farming, which took me 2 years. Why I created that course was because I understood the pain that dairy farmers go through, or any new person who enters dairy farming goes through, and so that they avoid the pitfalls which I faced, I created this course with the help of 12 veterinary doctors, and this is the only kind of course in India which is there. And we have a large number of people from all across the country who are undergoing this course, and we have got very good reviews from that. So I would say that these are some of the good things which have happened in dairy farm.
Sir, are these courses conducted online or it is offline, sir?
So these courses are pre-recorded. They are pre-recorded because there are certain we have shot all the videos in farms. So if a cow is pregnant and it is say delivering at 2 o'clock in the night, you cannot see that in the farm, right? You do not know when it is going to deliver or the complications which you face. So what we did was we went to the farm, we stayed there for 2 years in different farms across the country and recorded those. So all the videos are in pre-recorded format, but there is a chat option below the videos where you can ask the experts a question. The question is answered there as well as through email.
Okay. And how do you charge for these courses, sir?
So the dairy farming course is priced at 4,000 rupees for subscription. It's a lifetime subscription. And dairy products manufacturing course is priced at 1,800 rupees. Okay. So there 13 products are covered.
Okay. Do you also help your clients in marketing their products?
Yes, we help clients in marketing dairy products. So when they are manufacturing, right now what we are doing is we are whichever plants we are setting up, we actually find wholesalers, retailers, hotels in those places, and we connect them to them. But going forward, our plan is to package these products and sell them in the market. So we will select certain plants which show discipline, which show hygiene, which follow the standards that we are setting up. And from them, we are going to take the products and brand them and package them and sell them in the market. So that will happen maybe after a year or so.
Okay. What profile of clients come to you for consultancy? Who are the typical people who work with you?
So in dairy farming, we have dairy farmers of all categories. I would say most of them are progressive farmers. They are the people who are inclined to learn. See, one thing I have understood is that you cannot push anybody to learn, even if it's my children, going to school. You cannot just go on pushing them to learn. So these are people who are really interested in learning. There are farmers who have been, practicing dairy farming for more than 15 years. They have also subscribed to our course. So that's one category. So in dairy farming, we have all kinds of farmers. In dairy products, we have women groups. So we have worked with very backward villages which have no access to internet, and there barely any roads are there. There are women. We have worked with tribal women in areas in Gujarat, which are again very backward. We have also worked with rural youth, very progressive rural youth in areas like Purandar in Pune, where they have set up dairy products. So basically, we have worked largely with people from rural areas, more from rural areas.
Okay. Are most successful dairy farms in India run by traditional farmers or by entrepreneurs who come into dairy farming?
I think the uh, the parameter of success firstly needs to be defined, right? Uh, and it cannot be generalized. So, for example, in traditional dairy farmers, uh, most of the dairy farms in India, as per whatever statistics is available, have an average yield of 7 to 8 liters per day. So I will not consider that as a yardstick of success, right? But they are still existing. Why are they still existing? Is because they are getting a regular cash flow from them, right? Uh, on the other side, if you look into dairy entrepreneurs who are coming fresh, there are people who don't have any idea about the problems they will face in the dairy farm, right? As a result, they pack up, and after a year, they are just back into their jobs, right? So there are both these categories there. In On the other side, if I see, there are traditional dairy farmers who have been managing their farms very well, be it crossbred cows or the indigenous breeds. They are managing very well. The yields are also very good. And on the other hand, there are new entrepreneurs. Like I would cite the case of Dr. Chavan, who is also a subscriber to our course in Aurangabad. He has got Gir cows, and the average milk yield of Gir cows is more than 25 liters. Nobody will believe that. You can go and visit the farm. He is a new generation dairy farmer. So he has used embryo transfer technology, and the yield is more than 25 liters per animal. So it's a mixed bag of responses. We cannot just categorize them as successful, unsuccessful that way.
Okay, I have finished the questions from our side, sir. We have many participants from your side. I will take up questions from them, sir. Here, Dr. Sanjay is asking, what is the profitability in Goa?
In Goa, so in Goa, it's a very good it's a very profitable product. Now, suppose you are just using cow milk to make Goa, okay, and you are suppose procuring cow milk. I'll quote the rate of Maharashtra, for example. If you are buying cow milk at say 40 rupees a liter, decent 3.5 to 4% fat cow milk, then your cost of production for Goa will come to around 245 to 250 rupees, right? In the market at wholesale, you can easily sell it for 275 to 280, right? So you can calculate the margin. But if you are using another technology where you're using cow milk plus you're using SMP of cow milk, SMP, then your cost of production comes to 230 rupees also. So that means if you are selling it at 280, you get 50 rupees a liter. So that kind of profitability you have. So if you are selling it in a retail point where it is going for 300 rupees, good quality cow can go for 300, 320 rupees also, then the profit margin will be quite high.
Can I ask the question related to this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah. This is about khawa making, but the only thing is, if you get adulterated milk, then how it will affect the quality and how to check that?
Firstly, I'm not a dairy technologist. I cannot go into the details of this product. If you have a specific question on that, we can help you through our experts. I'm not a dairy technologist, but product quality is generally affected by adulteration, in any product, right? It is affected. So we have not encountered any case where the milk is adulterated because we test the milk for adulteration, right? we test the milk for various adulterations using the NDDP kit or any other kit, right? But product quality
synthetic
definitely
milk.
gets better.
Only issue is of synthetic milk. That
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sir, I'll take up questions from other participants, sir. Mr. Piyush is asking how to acquire customers for B2C.
Okay. So if you are acquiring customers for B2C, that means you have to build your brand. So first thing what you have to do is you have to make a quality which is like exceptionally good. You have to have a consistency which is very good, right? So that goes without saying. After that, what you can do is you can go for sampling your products, right? I don't know where you belong to, if you're in a rural or an urban place. So if you're in an urban place, what you can do is you can do sampling of your products. So while doing a sampling, you can take a small ice box, carry the products, use hand gloves, use a mask, go to a housing society and do a door-to-door sampling, right? That's one thing you can do. Second thing, if you have a farm where you have a dairy plant, then I would suggest get a bus, organize a weekend trip for all the people to come to see your farm, show them the plant, show them where the milk is sourced from, show them how your product is being made. That is the best kind of marketing you can do. When people see the source of your milk and the place where you're making the products, you will see that you will have a very high conversion rate, so similarly you can do a lot of these things. I will not suggest you to go and spend money on advertising, because as a small scale manufacturing plant, you will not have that kind of money for advertising. So initially you can do such things or such innovative things.
Okay. So since we are running short of time, we are having a lot of questions in the chat window. I have shared your contact details with the participants, sir. They can get in touch with you. One last question I will ask, sir. The cost of cattle feed is directly proportional to the profitability of the dairy. Today, a lot of adulteration is taking place due to the high cost of feeds. How do we tackle this problem?
I'm not sure whether adulteration is happening due to feed, cost of high feed. I mean, I'm not sure whether these two are related or not, but adulteration definitely is happening. I mean, if you test any good brand's milk also today, which comes in pouches, I don't want to take names. I did the test at home. All of them have some sample of urea, right? Some sample of urea is there. So every brand has this problem. So, but for you, I think the challenge is that how do you control the source of milk? So as a dairy product manufacturer, you should be so agile that you should go to the farms from where you are getting the milk. If you are starting at a small scale, like if you take Heritage is a milk brand. What they have invested on is manufacturing feed, because they can do it at that scale. Any other large dairy plant like Sonai, they have feed manufacturing also. So they are controlling, the source of feed or the source of, the reducing the cost of, it's a different strategy. It's a strategy of reducing the cost for the farmer also. So as a small player, I think what you should do is you should go to every farm, do trips there, do adulteration tests there. Of course, you should do adulteration tests at your source and try to control that.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I'm now concluding the round of questions. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank Mr. Sanjay Bhattacharji for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes.